Good afternoon. Good afternoon again. Thank you for joining. This ought to be fun. So, who is here with me today so far? Can you all hear me? All right. A lot has been going on since our last chat, and yeah, I just had to take a little hiatus and be productive. Not that I wasn't productive sitting here, but um, I got a lot done, and it was well needed. I just did not realize how much I actually needed to get done. Other than that, everybody is doing well. Hope you all are well where you are, and I'm going to get this chat started in just a minute. See, I'm on time. It's them. I was in here 30 minutes ago. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you do. Tell me, as teenagers, there's something about them. All right. Okay. All right. So I am going to ask some questions, and you all are welcome to ask them questions as well. I have no idea. I would think the one that asked to do this would be the first one sitting here. Okay. Yeah. This was a request. Come on. Sit down. Grab a seat. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Javen.
So, how old are you?
I'm 15.
What are your hobbies?
Video games. Like, it's hard to explain. It's not just playing video games. It's more or less rating video games.
Nice video games,
Yeah,
non-violent video games.
non-violent video games like Minecraft. Well, it's actually fantasy violent. It can kind of violent.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book. It's kind of hard to decide on that. Maybe The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
Yes.
Why Hobbit?
Well, I guess it's just The Hobbit has it inspires a lot of things. That and it's like my favorite part of the Hobbit was the riddles in it. It had a lot of like the riddles when Smeagol had riddles.
Hearing the echo.
He had asked some riddles to Bilbo Baggins, who was the protagonist of the story at the time. You know?
Hmm. What else would you like to tell about your favorite?
Favorite. How about favorite song?
What is your favorite song?
Well, it's actually a new song. Well, it's not a new song, but it's new to me. It's called White Shoes by Whale. You know? It's pretty cool. It's a rap song. My favorite quote, which I do not know who said it, but is that white shoes in life are comparable because they can both look good or they can look bad. But no matter what, they're hard to maintain.
Are you photobombing?
You're a video bombing.
Video bombing?
That's my fidget spinner right there.
Thank you. All right, go have a seat.
We have made a chain bracelet.
I see. He's showing everybody a chain.
One of my favorite TV shows to watch is an anime. It's called Dragon Ball, and it's pretty cool. All the Dragon Ball series, you know.
You're a sci-fi person,
Dragon Ball's not really sci-fi,
but that's what you like.
Yeah, a lot of sci-fi that I like. Sci-fi, anime, nerd stuff. I'm a self-proclaimed nerd.
Boy.
My favorite superhero is probably Static Shock.
So what do you like to do in your free time?
What I like to do in my free time, well, I do write raps occasionally, but I usually don't have time for that because I'm usually being called somewhere, like into the other room to help my dad out when I'm at his house or stuff like that. but I'm usually busy at the moments, so I really don't have time. But I write raps.
So, what would you like to do when you grow up?
I mean, I do plan to go to college, but I really want to be a rapper. But not like, say, one of the ones who I couldn't say I want to be one of those rappers who makes music and talks about the negativity and makes it seem like it's good. Like, I don't want to be a rapper that makes music calling out women and calling them weak and you know. I don't want to talk about drugs. I don't want to talk about weapons and stuff. I want to talk about when I want to be a rapper. I want to talk about the inspirational things. I want kids to look up to me and say, "He's a good rapper. He's actually pretty good. He wants to help us." I want to be a hero. You know.
Yeah, I hear the echo. I don't know what's up with the echo. What is it about being a rapper?
I mean, music can really affect people, and what people do nowadays is rapping. So I want to do. I want to be able to fit what I want to be able to put. Right, I want. I don't know how to explain it. I want to be able to help people out in a way they'll listen to.
So, you think music is the best way to get your message out there?
Yes.
Why not public speaking?
I'll do a lot of that too. Of course, I'll be part of it.
Because you know, rapping will only get you so far.
Of course.
You know, when you get my age, it's not really that cool to be a rapper.
I know that.
So,
I mean, that's just a thing to start me off. Not really to be
okay,
everything.
okay.
It's just a starter.
And in college, what would you study?
In college, I plan to study engineering, neuroscience, and psychology,
Interesting.
and other things, so other ones. But those are the main three: neuroscience and engineering, mainly because I want to learn what triggers seizures, right? And I want to be able to make a helmet
Screwed up
that,
a little bit. You want to learn what triggers seizures?
and I want to be able to make a helmet that reads brain. And I want to see if there's some way it can read the brain
Mm-hmm.
and be able to inform them whenever someone's having a seizure, so they can help them out as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. So you want to be an inventor?
Yeah, I mean, that's mainly what I want to do. But I have other plans too. If I don't get to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go into farming.
Farming.
I'm gonna have my own farm, my own land, my own animals, my own plants, all organic.
And what would you do with that?
I would support people. If I would probably open up a store one day, and that can be where the food is. It'll be sold to the people who go to that store. Customers will go in and buy food seeking the best of the best, because I believe that what's put in the food right now is mainly chemicals and pesticides, and they put things in chickens and food and steroids that just doesn't taste right, which is why I stopped eating meat.
Hmm.
It doesn't look right because I remember I was at a friend's house, which I actually wasn't supposed to be there, but I was at a friend's house and he had some food that he got straight from the butcher. So me and him tried a little bit of it. It tasted really good. And I was like, "Where'd you get this?" He said it was a butcher shop, and they cut the meat in front of you, and it was like the best of the best. So they proved to you that it wasn't fake in any way.
Mm. Yeah, we have to be careful about where you get meat from and how it's slaughtered and cut and grown.
Tasted very different than what regular meat tasted like.
Mm-hmm. Down on the country. Oh, So you want to make an impact in the community.
And be there some
So
people.
here's something I was thinking about. What if the seizures were related to the foods
That's
that
a
we eat?
possibility, very good possibility,
Mm-hmm.
because the chemicals in the brain, of course, can be affected by the chemicals in the food.
Mm-hmm. So you sound like you onto something.
Chemicals always counteract.
Wow.
Either they're reactant or non-reactant.
All right. So a lot of you all know, if you have been following us, that we've had some difficulty, behavior wise, and he has been in and out of treatment centers. And I shared the last two choices, and via a video tour, I think back in March. And I know to some of you it may not make sense, but I'm very open and honest here. A lot of people I receive private messages from, emails, things like that, looking for help with their teens, okay, troubled teens. Just gonna kind of put it like that. Um, and that's kind of why I started my channel way back when in the first place. I was looking for somebody that I could relate to, somebody that I could get the information that I give out from, and I know that not everybody is open to share that part of family life because it's very personal, and of course you want to be respectful to the child, because this is obviously public. But I did receive many responses, and I'm still receiving responses in the way of advice and help and things like that. And in turn, I have others that are coming to me and asking me, outside of these chats and the videos and things like that, um, what can they do? Where can they turn? So um, that is the purpose of us doing this. And I talked about recently, in a chat, just the ups and downs of homeschooling with a child that is special. Um, and special can really mean anything. With children these days, it's a lot. It's a lot on the parents, and I understand that. It's a lot on the families, and it kind of turns your homeschooling experience upside down because you really don't know day to day, behavior wise or illness wise, what's going to happen. So here we are in July, and I thought it would be more beneficial to have him before you all. For those of you that may have questions, to ask him about his recent experience. We had a very, we had a lot of pivotal moments. That was, when did you go in there? March what?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
8th or 9th.
March the 8th or 9th? Okay.
Maybe
And then you returned on May the
20th.
20th. So that was a couple of months. Normally they give them like about 30, 45 days. So what was your experience? What did you think? Different facility. What were you? What were your thoughts going in?
When I first walked in, I just took a look at it and
Turn around.
said, when I first walked in, I took a look at the place, saw the people, and said, I honestly don't think I'll like it. And the main reason why I said that, I know the exact reason why I said that was because I didn't know these people. I saw the place and blindly said that because I thought I was going to be imprisoned, not going to be feeling like I wasn't going to be able to feel happy there because I wasn't going to have free range to go out and act like a complete idiot. And I mean, those are my thoughts about when I went in the place. But I mean, people always change their thoughts on things. But I mean, I've changed my thoughts gradually because when I went in, like throughout the time I was there, I felt like I could open up to more people because I had people to talk to there. They were my peers, they were staff, and I remember that I had a really bad day one day, and the staff didn't even bother to restrain me or anything. And finally, one of my peers takes me over to the sideline and says, "Hey, man, I know what you're doing. I've seen what you're doing. I've done what you're doing. So what's happening right now is you don't feel like you can be here because you don't want to be here. You don't want to change. You don't want the help. You're not accepting the help. But you're saying you want help. So really what you're doing is wasting everybody's time." So I took a look at him and said, "Man, you're right. You know?" And that's when I had ups and downs. Like, I had ups and downs there. But it took me a while to realize that. And then finally he just brings it to my attention exactly what I'm doing. And he was, you know, he explained that to me in a way that I couldn't have even seen it myself, yet it was right in front of me.
Hmm. Interesting. Let me go back and address this comment. He got very smart young man. And thank you. My son has Tourette's, and even though he doesn't have seizures, he has involuntary movement and sound. Doctors say that it is hereditary, but also found that video games was a trigger.
Flashing lights.
Yeah, and that's definitely why I don't. Even though he says video games, it's not like he's sitting there all day, every day. I never let him do that. We don't do it.
We don't. I mean, honestly,
He doesn't have free access to anything. We don't run out buying that stuff. It doesn't happen.
I believe there's so many things that can trigger things within the human mind. I believe that, I mean, another thing I look at is that it's kind of like higher level thinking. It's kind of gonna sound, I guess, loony-ish, but what I think is that the mind has complete control of everything you do. Your mind, you can do anything you want with your mind, but you have to think for yourself. Because when I was in that treatment center, this relates to that. Because I never really thought of anything positive. And then finally, when I was laying down one day, and I was thinking, wow, this is actually like pretty interesting that I'm actually like such a negative person. Let me try being positive for the day and a few other days, and just kept going and going. And I was thinking, wow, all I'm doing is thinking positively, and look what it's getting me. Positive thinking is positive actions, positive input, positive output. What you put in, you get out. It's like your mind, like, we had a conversation one day, group talk in there, and everybody was upset. But I finally just acknowledge and say, does anybody ever wish, like I say, raise your hand if you wish you could have a machine that could make all of your dreams come true. And everybody raised their hand, including me and the staff and the therapist. I said, do you know we have access to that machine? And everybody was looking at me crazy. So I say we do. It's within you,
Your brain.
right here. You can do anything you want with your brain. You can become a pilot and fly. You can pretty much have superpowers by creating an exosuit. You can become an expert marksman and go to the military. You can be anything. And nobody realized that. The weird thing is, I was very upset that day. So even on my baddest days, I still have something that can help me go. And I actually thought that day, what if I need to apply that knowledge to myself?
So that was a turning point. Do you remember when that was? A couple of weeks after you got in?
It was a little bit closer to me
getting out.
Closer.
So your thought process started to change.
Yes.
Growth. We saw a lot of growth this time, even though it's been, back and forth through centers, and this was kind of a short stay. It wasn't the shortest, but this was, short stay. We saw a lot of growth, a lot of things went on, a lot of testings and things like that. A lot of, I had to do a lot of sitting and thinking, and I think I was probably away from the videos and things like that for a while because I had to figure some things out. And I came to realize a lot of what's going on with him had to do with myself, us as parents, and things that happened years ago. And, we don't birth them with instruction manuals, but I had to go back. Therapist asked a question, and it made me think. And I don't think anybody had ever asked that particular question in all these years. It's been 5 years of going through, from diagnosis to, these treatments. Nobody's ever asked that question, and it was a very simple question. And it was that aha moment, and it just, not that we have all the answers, but when he said that, I thought about it, and I asked one of the other kids, or I said something to them, and they told me, yeah, we were talking to you about that a while ago. And I thought, where was I? How did I miss this? So, yeah, I wouldn't say it was a total fail because, it's a mom fail on my part. But I recognized very early on his needs and, how it was going to affect the dynamics, just family life in general, and sought the treatment and was, really aggressive with it. And I think that's the thing that I always um, give out when I'm talking with someone and they're asking for, advice or, where to go or things like that. And I just tell them, you have to be your child's advocate. People can tell you things, um, because that's their job, but you know your child best. And I've had a lot of people come in and out and over the years, and at first it was a learning curve where I just had to sit and listen to what they were telling me, and I always followed up. But after a while, it got very redundant because everybody was giving the same information, the same advice. We were going the same direction. I said, you know what? We keep hitting a brick wall with him. This is not working. There has to be something that we're missing. And, it was up to me to figure out how we want to go about this. So I took everybody's help as I needed it, but it was up to me to kind of troubleshoot and get going in the right direction and the questioning. If somebody gave me information and it just did not, I had a question, they didn't answer the question, I went over their head to the next person, and I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. A lot of them didn't like it, but if you can't help, you have to step aside. So it really became a desperate situation because, he's getting older and older, and I don't want him to be, um, just out, you know, um, not being able to function as an adult. That is my goal, to be able to get him to function as an adult wherever he's, living.
Pretty much, you don't want me to be in a cell or a casket.
Exactly. Or on the street and just lost. He needs to. He's a very bright kid, and he needs to, understand that he has options other than what they were offering him. And the sad reality is that's what happens to these kids. They end up in detention and they stay there. It's not a pretty place to be at all. No, no matter the offense or whatever, it's just not a good place. Even treatment is, it's a band-aid. It's not a good place to be. Nobody wants to be away from home. Um, the first thing what did you give up?
Well, I stopped fighting it. Fighting everything that was like, I pretty much stopped fighting.
No, what is the one thing that you had to give up?
Meaning,
What did you lose when you went into treatment? Each time you went into treatment, what did you lose?
freedom.
Freedom. Kids his age, they like their freedom. So he spent a good part of his teenage years being, told what to do, how to do, and not from me, from someone else. So what would you tell a child, whether it's a boy or a girl your age, going through
Same situation I've been in.
issues, depression, things like that? What good advice could you give them?
I would look at him and say the same thing that the guy told me. Except a little bit. Like, I'll say, hey man, or hey, I know it. I've seen it. Before you say anything, let's go and try to make me turn around. You can't. Because I've seen everything you're seeing. I've done everything you've done. Maybe it's been a little bit different because no two human souls are the same. But I've seen this. I know this. Because I've been through it. And all I can say is the only way you can change it is if you look within yourself, find a light in the cave, find a candle or something, grab the torch, whatever. Take that torch back to safety, get firewood and make a fire. See ya. Look for something. Ignite the flames of victory. Whatever you gotta do, make sure you do it to help you. Do it to benefit yourself. Because I've seen this all before, and what you're doing is going on the wrong path. That's what I would say.
And what about somebody at home that is in your situation? Who would you tell them to turn to?
You know who I would say? If you're going through something like this, what I've been going through, you know who you have? You have your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, everybody in your family is who you can turn to. Don't turn to your friends. Don't turn to teachers. Don't turn to coaches. Don't turn to people like that because they will not help you. They'll tell you some stuff that they'll say they'll help you. What they'll do is they'll refer you somewhere where you'll lose your freedom, and they'll slowly drive you to insanity. This lady right here has helped me through everything, and I was too blind to realize it. She gave me chance after chance after chance, and I didn't even want it. And I finally realized that she was going to help me. I love my mom.
Very touching. I love you too.
Thanks, mom.
So yeah, out of the mouths of babes. Yes, teacher mom. I think a lot of kids these days are just so stuck on this social media, and it just takes them out of their realm. A lot of things that these kids are dealing with, um, depression is high in teenagers. and it's social media. And that is the reason why I say take them away, get them off of social media. Don't give them free access. Don't give them, let them make accounts, TV, things like that. I got a lot of that at first. The, his behavior, oh, it's TV. And I said, no, sir, no, ma'am. I busted the TVs and threw him out of the house with a hammer. You know, he wasn't watching TV. His trouble started not from TV. So nobody could tell me that it was the TV doing that to them. And they were like, wow, really? Um, the peer pressure, you have to watch closely, guard your children, guard them. Don't keep them in a bubble, but I do guard them. I'm very selective about where they are going, who they're with, and what they're doing, what they read. Because you don't want them exposed to certain things before they're ready for it. They cannot really handle things, and especially social media these days, it's just out of control, and a lot of parents are so busy on social media themselves, or they are working, that they don't care. As long as that kid is not bothering them, they don't care. And that's the sad reality. These children are coming up depressed and uh, being bullied, and they're out of control. Kids are off the chain these days. The ones that are going to school, they're fearless towards the teachers and things like that, and it's crazy. But if the parents just actually took the time to sit down and conversate with them on a regular basis, instead of picking up the phone, calling your friend, talk to your children and find out what's in their heads.
This is my understanding. As soon as you pick up one of these, there's an imaginary chain with a cuff around your wrist. You won't be able to let it go. You'll be able to press buttons, look at pictures, do anything you want. But you won't be able to put it down until the thing dies.
With a hammer, lol. Huh, JB, did not bust them TVs.
I saw you busting Jasmine's at first, and I was scared. I was hiding in that little bench.
I sure did. They didn't know what was going on.
She was like, no TV. Yeah, as soon as you pick up a phone, it's your slave owner. As soon as you pick up a phone, you are a slave.
TV it's corrupt. It's just, they see all these commercials with the commercialism. My kid, I can take them to the store. The little one, we just got TV back just a couple years ago, and I'm getting ready to get rid of it again. But I can take them to the store. I don't have to worry about them running down Target screaming, can I have this? I want this. Give it to me now. My kids don't do that. They were mesmerized when they saw TV. It was just like, wow, this is on TV. And what was interesting was, remember the Lego magazine we used to get?
Yeah.
The catalog. I remember Tariq, he was it about 3 or 4?
Yeah.
He was so intrigued by that Lego catalog, and it did not dawn on me for a couple days. That was all he needed. He hadn't been exposed to anything like that on TV. He's seen Legos, here and there when I take him to the store, but
that was all I used to.
He was really excited to see that catalog. And so when he went to the store, he had his fill. He didn't have to worry about asking for this and that.
I just gave him Legos too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we do books. We do books. Give them books, let them read, and they're going to live. They're not going to die. So once they grow up and then they go to college and they, are working, they can get whatever kind of TV and video games and all that fancy stuff that they want, and pay for it. They can do that. So, something else I wanted to ask you. So, what do you, did you find your experience this time Different? How?
Very different. Because when I was younger, in the other training center I went to, I felt nothing, saw nothing. My mind was still in the state of la la land. Now, I'm getting older and I'm maturing. So I think this was a perfect time to put me in a place like this if I was still acting like this, because right now at all times it would click into my mind where I would have to think, because this is a thinking state. I'm 15. I have 3 more years until I'm 18. Not even 3, less than that now. Yeah, a few years, and I'm gonna have to find a way where I can make it, help myself, become what I want to be in life. Can't be a dumb guy on the street begging for money. I mean, they're not dumb, of course. Probably most of them are smart. They're probably like how I
They
was.
just lost their way.
Yeah.
And nobody paid attention to them.
Luckily, I have the opportunity. I have the opportunity of someone helping me right here. You know, my mom told me something, and I was watching. Like, my mom told me something a while back. They will give you enough rope to hang yourself. I didn't realize that until I went there, because even the staff at times were acting like, "Hey, we're gonna let him go, get in trouble. We're gonna let him get in a fight. We're even gonna instigate the fight. We're even gonna say, hey, he beat you up whenever he gets done. You know, like we're even like they actually instigated stuff. They let people get in trouble. They didn't bother to help someone out unless it's their favorite kid. And yes, they pick favoritism. Ways I know that is because they would get other kids extra plates. They would laugh at kids when they got mad, and other kids they wouldn't. But there was those good staff that actually pays attention and listens to you. So I feel like what I'm trying to say is they did their part in trying to help. They did their part in trying to screw me over. But what I realize is that nobody can do anything to me if I'm untouchable, and I can be untouchable if I want to be. All I gotta do is say some simple words. You cannot bug me unless I want you to. And that was the main problem. I let people bug me. I let people upset me.
Hard knocks life. That's what that's called.
Yeah.
And so, because you could not control yourself, think rationally, control your actions, you ended up losing your freedom, having to deal with strangers and strange children, and you thought that was,
Just all that weird at first.
yeah.
I was confused.
So, but from now forward, what do you plan on doing to keep yourself on the straight path?
I plan on starting to write rap more because I know that's what I'm gonna do at first. Support people. But I'm not gonna be like one of the rappers I eat. Yeah. But that's mainly what I set myself on. So I believe that's a talent that can be used or abused.
So you want to write about your feelings,
And write
you
about
want to express yourself.
be a speaker of people. Whatever people feel like, I'll speak those emotions to them. Everybody who wants to hear it, everybody who needs to hear it, not just who wants. Like, for example, there was a story called the story of OJ. Like, there's this cartoon about the story of OJ that Jay-Z released, right? And it was a cartoon on YouTube. I think it got taken down, but I looked on his website and it said it was socially provocative. Why would it be socially provocative? See, I want my stories to be that much to where people think it's socially provocative because I'm speaking so much truth that they can't even handle it. Because if that's what's going to get them to think, that's what I want to do. I don't want them to say, hey, we're just going to take him lightly. I want them to take me seriously. I don't want them to laugh at me and say, ha, human, whatever, weak. I want them to think of me, even if it's, I want the people who are threatening, the threatening ones, I want them to think of me as the guy who's gonna expose them. That's what my mom like. But I want them to think of me as the guy who's gonna expose them for what they're doing wrong. I want to show people the truth. I want to show people true justice. I want people to learn life. I want people to be able to sit down, go to a cafe and sit down, and not have to think about what's going to happen when they die and who's going to support their family. I want them to sit down and eat and not worry about their food being poisoned or spit on. I want them to be able to sit down and write some stuff down and say, well, I want them to be confused, pretty much. I want the world's people to be able to live in peace. I would take the pain of the world's people if I could, because I want them to be happy. I want them to live in peace. I don't want anybody to suffer. I would take their pain for them if I could, because I don't believe anybody should suffer. I would carry the weight of the world on my shoulders because I don't feel like anybody should have to bear that amount of pain. I would do so much for this world's people.
Let me go back up here to these comments. Teacher mom says, "Oh, not that I'm implying that it's wrong." Okay, we'll come back to the video game. No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I know the effects, the ill effects of it.
Video games can drive people insane.
He's 15 now, and makes that decision for himself. And see me, I just, I don't feel that, uh, they're even capable of understanding all that goes into that. So I just avoid it altogether. I don't bring it in. What helped him was a mouth guard fitted to adjust his jaw, and now his ticks are very low. Oh, yeah, I've heard about the mouth guards. The helmet is a great idea. I busted video game consoles. It was necessary at one time. Now, see, most people won't go that far. I know I got a lot of naysayers when I first talked about that and the girls talked about that, but I'm serious. And it's just because you don't see the effects. I see all sorts of things. I heard somebody talking about a popular TV show and how it left them feeling after they watched that show. And I'm thinking, okay, if that did all of that to you, imagine what it's going to do, what it's doing to your child. Because they said the child was watching it. I would not let my kids watch that show. But yeah, if it left your head some kind of way, why are you polluting your child like that? I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's certain things I don't watch TV, and even when it comes to movies, I have to be very selective because I don't like stuff messing with my head like that. This stuff these days is just too far out there. Um, so, let's see, what else? Is there anything else you want to? Any more advice you would offer? Questions? Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask him?
It's kind of slow.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a slowing down.
Hmm.
Like the videos on the videos right away.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Speak louder.
I am 15 years old.
15. And so he turned 15 end of April,
April 30th.
and he was not home with us. And that's usually how it's been for the past, I don't know, I think maybe one time where you were home when you were 13, when you turned 14. You had just came home.
Yeah, that's how it's been last time I was home.
Was it 13 or was it 12? Let's see. I think it was 13.
I believe it's. I mean,
My son is 15 too. Okay.
I've got some advice. I believe we all have this power, and it's not like outrageous or anything. It's the power of unity. It's like, for example, it all depends on your peace sign, the way you do your peace signs. You do your peace sign like this, unity. Do your peace on this, separation. It's the basic way to do it. It's the easiest way to do it. Unity versus separation. I mean, I believe in unity. I believe if we could all come together and decide, hey, we don't need these people to control us and say, we're in charge of you now. You have to listen to us. You're our slaves, technically. We'll tax you when you're broke. You know?
All right, you got another question. What are your favorite subjects teacher mom asked?
My favorite subjects, I like math. It gives me a challenge, of course. And I like science mainly because, I mean, science, I'll say, it's always hit me, science. Then I like philosophy.
Okay, good one. Let's talk about that really quickly. Okay, so I want you to kind of tell about your day, how for a child or a parent that is may need to look into treatment facility. I want you to tell us about your day, like the schedule, like timing wise, and then school. Okay, there is a if they are in a long term facility, and usually short term, they are going to enroll them. They have charter schools. They're on the premises, so they're going to enroll them in the charter schools, and that's what they do. So I'm gonna let him kind of talk about that a little bit, and kind of give you all an idea. And like I said, it may be a fit, it may be a help to someone.
So we would wake up at around 6 on weekdays, right? So we could like all get ready. Well, the staff would come out at 6. Yeah, they wake us up at 6. We go to breakfast. After we get ready, we go to breakfast around 7:30.
Turn around.
We go to breakfast around 7:30. Sorry, it's a habit. And then after that,
share space.
After we go to breakfast, we go back to our unit for a little bit. Fall back in our rooms. We'd wait until the teacher came to get us from school. We would go to school, and the staff and the teacher would escort us down to the schoolyard. And I don't really remember what times some classes were, but we would end school around 3, 3 o'clock, and we'd go back to the unit, and we'd have group from 3 to 4. And
yeah, group
from 3 to 4.
From 3 to 4.
That was Monday to Thursday. Now, at this particular treatment center, there was a ropes course. So
hold on. What is group?
Group therapy.
Group therapy, okay.
And on this particular treatment center, there was a ropes course. So to specify that, we had ropes and we could climb up the places. Anyway, on Wednesday, it was still 3 to 4. We go at 4 o'clock to 5.
And that was outside?
No, that was Friday. That was on Fridays.
Was it outside?
Yes.
That was a part I showed.
I forget exactly when it was actually, so I'll skip that.
I showed
At dinner was usually 5. Dinner was always 5. And then after dinner, we would go back in the unit and people would start showers and then let us to fall out to play board games, watch a movie. And then after that, after I showered, we would have a conversation, like, we would have a group conversation amongst the peers and everything about what happened during the day, what people would think about those situations. And that would usually be from about 7 to 8. And then we would fall back and go to our rooms for sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fairly strict schedule.
And so between 6 to 8, you had phone calls,
Yes.
visitations on
Well,
certain
6 to
days
8 because people had to fall back out for phone calls, but not everybody always got phone calls because,
based on your behavior.
and not just that, some people just didn't like phone calls
Mm-hmm.
because family issues.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I didn't get to make phone calls because of the time.
Roommates.
I had, I had, well, I'll say 2 roommates. One in the beginning, which I really didn't get along with, and then the second one towards the end of the time I was there. Me and him got along very well. He was really cool, and me and him got to play Yu-Gi-Oh, so I like that.
So what about school? How was school?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain it, but I'll put it in the best way possible. They couldn't go and teach everybody at the same time as a class because there were different grade levels, and they taught everybody by unit, not by grade level. So they had to say, "All right, we'll give you the work. We have an assistant teacher
Scoot
right
up a
here.
little bit.
We have the work. We have an assistant teacher right here. You know, you don't. We can't help you all the time, but they did as much group assignments as possible. So you know, which made a lot of sense. So we had a STEM lab, which we would go there. First we did science when I was there, and then we did math. I like the science part of it because I did plants and pollination course. I have a pollination course there. If you want to check it out, it's called Physical STEM Lab, and that's actually public and everything, you know. But that was pretty interesting. I got to do plants and pollination. I got to learn about plants, which I really didn't like. I didn't really feel like I would like learning, but I did. So, you know, and so pretty much, yeah, classes were separated because everybody was all like, "Well, I really can't." Like staff was like, "We really can't help you because there's not a lot of people." But that's what teachers. And there's a lot of people, and they're all in different grade levels.
Mm.
And that was not the homeschool schedule. Mommy share space. That was the treatment center schedule.
Okay, so mommy shares space. No, this is not his homeschool schedule. And yes, I apologize for the echo. I'm not sure why we still have echo. He has recently been discharged from a treatment facility for behavior issues, and we've just kind of been, over the years, I've been talking about his his issues and the ups and downs and things like that. I have quite a few people that reach out and they look for information like this and how to help their teens and just some direction outside of what they're getting because this is not something that if you're having trouble with your teenagers, first of all, you don't realize that you have help. A lot of people just don't know. It until it's too late, they end up in juvenile detention, and nobody wants to help them. And even there, you do have options, but it's up to you to help yourself. And a lot of this I had to, it started with our pediatrician that we've had, 20 years. Um, but it goes beyond that. And up until this point. And so I talked about treatment facility as a means of helping and as a means to help them cope, especially at his age, he's needing to learn how to cope, uh, being diagnosed as an adult. His living situation is probably going to change. I don't think he wants to live at home forever. He's welcome to, but that's up to him.
Not
So,
forever.
yeah, he was in a residential treatment center from May, no, March of this year until May, this past May. And so he was just explaining that the children there are enrolled into a charter school, and it's a very good school. In communication with them at least once a week. Excuse me. I was in communication with them, and things like that, and everything is on your approval. So it's not like they're doing things that you're not aware of, but obviously they have to be in school. But definitely, if they're in a center, you don't want them going back out into public school. If that's just something you don't want, because it defeats the purpose of them being there. And if you are footing this bill, it is very expensive. These facilities range upwards 12,000 a month, so you don't want to you want to get the best experience possible. So that's the reason why I kind of let this out there, because a lot of people don't know you possibly have insurance that will cover at least a 30-day, and you can get a lot of help if you just know, but you have to push this yourself. Nobody's going to tell you, go put your child over here. There's a waiting list, in most of the places. But and he was on a waiting list, so you have to be diligent. But if you're, really aggressive, and you, I want to say at your wits' end, but you really need some help, some direction, and yeah, it's just the same as if somebody, an adult were needing help and they wanted to go through therapy. This is the same thing. It's just we've done in-home therapy, we've done everything, and so once I found out, I think the issue is we need to take him out of the home and kind of work on some things, because it kind of picked us all apart as a family, and to where I was just running on fumes, and I couldn't even really. I don't know. I maintained. Everybody said I don't know how you did it, but I maintained. It's because they didn't have anybody else but me. But it was just really draining, and then having to work full-time jobs and deal with that, and it's a lot. So I needed other options, or else somebody was going to self-destruct.
Yeah.
So
Ready for the next question?
it says, well, thank you very much for sharing, and also your son for being willing to share. Also, he sounds like a very smart kid.
Thank you.
Great point on unity earlier. Very true. So, yeah, um,
No.
you guys can always private message me, because I know not everybody watching wants to comment or kind of put their information out there on the street, as far as what's going on. But um, I've been there. Nothing is. You can overcome this. You can. There's direction, and that's what I want to give. There's direction. There can be peace, because I know it's a lot of chaos. And I know, like I said, special kind of, it's a broad spectrum when you say you have a special child, because it could be, an illness, it could be a severe illness, or it could be just as little as, some behaviors, as we have here. Nothing, you know, to affect his intelligence or anything. Thinking wise, yeah, it's a little bit going on there, but and that kind of influences his behavior. So that is what we work on constantly. And so, what else did you do there? They have a certain day that they do therapy.
Like lips therapy.
Hmm.
Lips therapy.
No, just they. First of all, they have a. There's a certain day the kids are all assigned a therapist,
Oh
and you
yeah.
have a family therapy session. And we did ours once a week by phone. So it was myself on the phone and him in the room with his therapist, and then you meet. Yeah. Um, or either parent that's available, and then you meet. They meet with their therapist individually, but the family therapy is a very pivotal, uh, component of them getting through this successfully.
I
You
got
have to
something to
really
say.
be active.
Something I gotta say about that is when I was talking to my therapist, he told me this. So what I could do is, because he said since I meditate a lot, what I should do is get into a meditative state and imagine there's doors in my mind. And this is an exercise that helps. Imagine there's doors, and what you do is go through every one of those doors and look at what's in there. And you'll see memories, things like that. And you'll see things that you haven't really bothered to look at. And you'll probably be able to see memories outside of your body. And it was like pretty interesting to think. Well, what if I've been thinking all wrong, you know? I was thinking about it, like, well, where there's darkness, light shines brightest. So maybe I just need to turn on the light, look around the room.
Hmm, that's a good point.
Then I realized I was in a room full of gold. Yeah, I was a room full of gold and riches because I was happy. Not literal riches and gold, but I had a whole bunch of things that I hadn't even looked at to realize. Like I failed to realize that I'm blessed to be able to have a pencil and paper in my hand and being able to state my opinions on a paper. I'm blessed to be able to have my parents, my siblings, and be able to live somewhere with clothes on my back. You know?
Hmm. Because you got to hear from a lot of those kids that did not come from their parents' home, right?
Yes, man.
So yeah,
Because some of those kids came from different areas.
and some of them are actually in state care, so they're from.
One of them told me that in state care, it's not exactly the worst because it could be worse, and at least he's in somewhere with state care. But at the same time, it's like he'd rather be with his mom and dad, so he'd rather know who they are than have like he'd rather well he knows who they are. He'd rather talk to them on a daily basis. The thing was, they were good parents, but they couldn't support him. That's what I'm assuming, at least.
Hmm.
I don't know the full story, so
But all in all, you have learned
all the stuff.
what I've been trying to tell you all along about your behavior. We are trying to keep your freedom, right?
Man,
It's being at the point of compromising your freedom when there's nothing that we can do to help. So you have to be responsible for your actions, right?
yes, man. I mean, I say this because I remember I had to go to court one day, and I had recently got out of the detention center, and that is when pretty much the judge was looking for a treatment center for me. So the judge said, because he was like, "What do you want to do?" He was like, I was like, "I want to be free. I don't want to be here." He says, "Well, clearly what you're stating is with your actions is that you don't want to be free because you're obviously going out doing the wrong things." And I said, like, when I got into the juvenile, it was already time to go back to our cells. So I ate and then I went back to my cell. And I was thinking, I was laying down thinking, actions speak louder than words. And how come I hadn't realized that before? Like, that floats around so much. And yet, I'm very ignorant of that. I was very ignorant at first. I didn't, it's not that I couldn't realize, it's that I didn't want to realize it. Because I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to look at the paper. I didn't want to see what it really was because I felt like it would affect me major. It would hurt me in the long run, but it really helped me.
Well, that is so true. I tell my kids that already, even at this young stage. You are blessed. Yeah. So,
I believe that kids, what they believe in now, are not what they're gonna believe later. Because I'm already 15, I'm still learning. But what we kids look at now, it's stuff that when we get older, like probably what our parents believe is ignorant and stupid. And I think like what I'm seeing now is, what if our parents only see it as ignorant or stupid because it is ignorant or stupid, and we just don't want to look at it like that? You know? What if we think it's cool, or the parents think it's not? Like, for example, when kids go out and do drugs, parents don't look at that as cool. Parents look at that like shameful. They wouldn't want their kids to do drugs, but the kids like it. You know?
mm,
We're not supposed to be doing that stuff. We're supposed to be going out playing sports, going to rec centers and having fun, and listening, of course. Going to school and getting good grades and coming back with a report card saying, "Hey, mom, dad, I made it." You know, we're not supposed to be believing in negativity. We're supposed to be able to say, "Hey, we made it where we are. We can get further." But kids look at it like, "Oh well, I could die tomorrow, so I really don't care. I might as well do this stuff now." Well, let's put it like this: you're more than likely not gonna die tomorrow, because the higher power keeping you alive right now has a lot more in store for you.
come here, Justice. Come here,
Looks like
Justice.
my big sister's gonna make an entrance.
She's shy. Come here, Justice. Oh, thank you very much for your talk.
My last quote to y'all is: life is like white shoes. It can look good or bad, but it's always hard to manage. Peace.
Justice, come here. You guys have any questions for her? Come here, Justice. What you doing? You'll live. Sit down.
What? No, I won't.
All right.
I only have one picture.
They have seen you in a couple years ago in December. Remember the video? If you all did not watch the Teen Talk series, this is one of the girls. That was about 2 years ago. I think it was 5 or 6 videos that they did end of December. So, how old are you, Justice?
17.
And what grade are you in?
I'm going into 12th grade.
All right. So, what has been your experience so far in high school? Because the first one, when you first talked, you were just starting. You were in ninth grade, middle of ninth grade.
I don't know. What do you mean by experience? Like, I don't know.
What, has it been what you expected?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really expect anything.
You didn't know what to expect for high school, from
No, not really.
leaving middle school to going to high school.
No. What? I didn't expect anything. Not. I see. You have no.
So, what do you do? What are your talents?
I'm in theater.
What do you do in theater?
Well, I do both acting and teching. Well, right now I've been teching, but I mean, I don't know. I do both. I haven't acted since I've only done one show acting this year, but everything else I'm tech. I don't know.
So, what are your plans? What do you want to do with the acting?
I mean, I'm still in class, so like we have a class show. I just want to do UIL this year. That's all I plan on. I don't really want to do any of the big shows.
Do you see acting in your future?
Not really.
Directing, theater?
I guess I could still do theater, but I wouldn't do it in college or anything like as a thing. It'd be something to the side.
Side hustle. What are your plans for college?
Well, I want to do film, like screenwriting specifically, so I can have all stuff with that. I took a class that I have to do with that too this year.
So what colleges or universities are you looking
I have
towards?
a list.
What are your top six?
My top six. Well, I only have 7 colleges.
Oh, well, what are they?
I have NYU, UT, Chapman, Emerson, Ithaca. How much is that? There's another one.
That's five.
There's 2 more. Oh, Loyola Marymount. That's 6.
That was one of my choices.
And
She said Columbia.
oh no, I don't have Columbia on my list.
No more.
No. There's another one. I think it's in California.
Did you say UCLA?
Oh no, I have to cut UCLA because they don't offer financial aid to outside of state.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Why would you? Yeah.
I have to get rid of UCLA and U San Francisco.
Yeah, you cannot.
I think the last one. Oh yeah, the last one is USC.
USC. Okay, that's what I was thinking. SC. I'm gonna be a Trojan.
That's not my top choice.
Well,
My top choice is NYU, but Dad doesn't want me to go to New York.
well, because New York is a dangerous place, but I think you will be okay. I think you'll be just fine. You just have to learn how to be safe there. I don't think anybody can learn. It's just, yeah, it's a place. Zion. I don't know. As long as you're at school and you stay at school, I think you'll be okay. You have a good experience. It's not like you're going to be living in the city and just hanging out and then going to school. If you're on campus, you'll be okay. So, what do you want to major in?
Well, they're all different, but like I guess the general answer is like film production. But I was also thinking of double majoring because I want to do something. Well, I was thinking of this, but like something related to urban planning or something.
Double major. What are you doing, Zion? Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah. What is your favorite book?
My favorite book? I don't know. I don't have a favorite book.
Your favorite author?
I don't have a favorite author. I haven't read an actual book since. Like, other than an English class, I haven't really read an actual book since last year.
It's because you've been busy, but who's your favorite? Did you like Jane Austen?
I mean, I only read, like,
Here, get that.
okay. I've only read Pride and Prejudice. And that's because I had to for theater.
So you don't have a favorite author?
No, not really.
Favorite book? What is your favorite childhood book?
My favorite childhood book? Oh, no, there's a lot.
Name a couple.
I don't know. I really like the Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. That book was have a lot of pictures in it.
Yeah, we're gonna read that. That's on the shelf.
I read Magic School Bus and Magic Treehouse. I read those books a lot. I don't know.
Those are your most memorable books.
I mean, I remember reading those a lot. Like, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Y'all read a lot of books.
read Harry Potter. Everyone reads that. Oh yeah, I guess I read Percy Jackson too. It was more middle school.
Diane. So what do you want to be? What do you think you want to be when you grow up?
Probably just a screenwriter. I don't know. I mean, like, I haven't really done much over the summer about it because of the summer musical class. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Screenwriter.
Yeah.
Hmm. What happened to fashion?
Fashion.
Yeah.
When did I want to do fashion?
When you were in fashion when you were 12.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Well,
I also wanted to be a doctor, but
yeah, you wanted to be a doctor.
I don't want to be a doctor.
Mm.
I'm not good at science.
Wow. Interesting to see how they change over the years. So we'll look back at this and see in a few years what happens. Just whatever they become, I know they'll be great and happy. That is my hope. Hmm. Oh, now y'all are together.
She does not look like me.
Do you all think? Comment if you think these two girls look alike.
She looks like Stanley.
She does. These two girls, my girls, they do look very, very much alike. Turn around. Let's do this. Sit.
I'm not looking like her.
Here, turn around. Makes it just.
Yeah, I have a different face shape, a different nose.
Yeah, but you all
different
do
lips.
look alike. Come here. Why are you not in the camera? Come here.
You do not
There
look
you go.
alike.
Yeah, there you go.
How many people resemble?
Yeah, that picture I put up last night of you guys.
Does not look. Do not
Look alike.
Even Layla thinks so. She agrees with me.
The only reason I know is because I know the two of you, but somebody else might think you look alike.
I don't see it.
I think y'all do.
I'm like, we not look alike. I don't see it.
You
We
say
don't even
hi.
have the same eyes. We have no facial features that are similar except for eyebrows.
You don't have the same cheeks.
No, we don't.
No. They have the same hair. Do you have anything to say? What do you have to say? Besides, you don't want your hair done. Look at me like that. Oh boy. So those are I have, see, 17, 15, 19-year-old I kind of consider as grown. Um, Not really a teen. Those are the teens. Hopefully, you all got a little bit.
I see the kitchen.
See the kitchen?
Where the kitchen?
Of
You
insight.
see that tiny hole?
And I don't know.
You see that tiny hole?
If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them.
It's right here.
Yeah. So I think it's just important to sit and talk with your kids and let them know, find out where they are, let them know where you are, and that will give you a sound direction, the expectation level. Um, I wouldn't say don't set expectations too high. Don't place things upon your children. Okay, do not say they have to do this and they have to do that and they have to do that because once they become grown, they are ultimately going to follow their own path. And when you tell them you want something from them, this is what you want from them. It can really hurt their ego. Especially if that's not what they're, cut out to do. You don't want to live vicariously through your children because you wanted to go to this school and you didn't make it for whatever reason. Or, you wanted to choose this path in life and you didn't make it, but you have this child. Let them go their own way. They know that, the only thing we require is education higher than us. If everybody's been university, college educated, then that's all we expect. And it's not so much it's not so much going through with it, actually going to the school. What we expect and we need to see is that you can get accepted. Now, whether or not you choose to go, that's up to you, because once you graduate from high school, you're grown. That's what we consider grown. You need to go and live your life. But we need to know that you were capable enough of entering somebody's university or college. So she can go to Joe's school down the street, college. I don't care. It's not my life. It's her life. She has to be able to, I'm not paying her bills, that type of thing. Right?
I guess.
I mean, if she got into, USC and then didn't want to go, I can't make her go anywhere. That's her decision. She has to live with that. Because I don't know, she could turn out to be some type of great entrepreneur or something. I don't know. And may not even need that direction. So, get now. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a doctor.
You want to be a doctor? What do you
I want to be a teacher.
You want to be a teacher?
Yeah.
What kind of teacher?
You're not white. I don't know.
Aaliyah, what kind of doctor?
A nurse? Yeah. That take care of pets.
Oh,
She wants to be a vet.
A vet?
A veterinarian? What do you want to be? A teacher?
Yeah.
You want to teach big kids or little kids?
How to take care of kids and big kids.
Little kids and big kids? Oh.
Aaliyah wants to be a vet. You should get her a pet. You should get her
No.
No. Teachers don't give pets
I said
to vets.
Aaliyah.
Don't even think about it. She don't need no dog. Get down before you fall.
Why not?
No more dogs. That's your dream.
What about a hamster?
Yeah.
We got enough pets in our life. I remember one time we had 13 pets at one time.
13? That was kind of
All the fish, all the turtles, all the bunnies, all the guinea pigs, all the hamsters. No, we didn't have guinea pigs and hamsters at the same time. We had the bunnies. What else did we have? Dogs. I don't know, but it was 13 and it was too many of them. We had a freaking zoo in the house and outside the house. But yeah, it was fun though. They took care of them. So, for the most part, they did.
Yeah, you can get her a small animal.
No.
Like a hamster.
Or a guinea pig is going to be like this.
No.
Or a rabbit.
No. It's like this
I'm not
fat.
cleaning anymore.
Like this fat.
It's enough to clean up them. When they can clean up the stuff, then they can have them.
You know, if you weren't afraid of snakes, that's a simple option.
No.
They're like
No.
cats. They're like cats.
No.
They don't do anything.
I want a cat.
No justice.
No. I'm not getting rats.
We're not getting rats.
You can get them a fish.
Or a cat.
Stitch are easy.
Maybe.
You just have to feed them one.
You want to be, wait a minute, you want to be a doctor's eye? What kind of doctor?
A nurse or a doctor?
A doctor? What do you want to do? You want to take care of people? You want to do surgery? You do? What is surgery?
Means
Means you're sick. Is it an operation? Where they have to cut people? That's what you want to do? And make them better?
you said cut pieces. Know what I mean?
Or you want to help babies? She said, what?
Stop doing that. She said she doesn't want to help any babies.
You don't want to help any babies?
She
Okay.
made her decision.
So she wants to be a surgeon. She said it. She knows what she's talking about. Leah. Well, good for you. You want to be a surgeon. I think you'll make it too. Because you're a very smart little girl.
With an attitude.
So, anywho, something else I wanted to say. The 15-year-old and this 5-year-old share the same birthday as well. Something else interesting. So outside of the twins, I actually have 4 kids that share the same birthday, including the twins. It's a special little bond with them. Kind of strange, but yeah. Anywho, those of you that are watching in the comments, like I said, feel free to comment, reach out to me via email or Instagram, direct message, or Facebook, my Facebook group, the public one, and hopefully I could, you know, eh, be of some help if you are looking for options. So I will see you all in the next chat coming up. I'm not sure when that'll be. Just, like I said, been very productive around here, and coming out of hibernation today, but trying to get some things done. So, but I do appreciate you all coming and chatting with us, and try to get some vlogs up for you all. I have been slacking in that too, and that's been on purpose. I have a lot of footage I have not shared as usual. I've still been vlogging, even though I've been absent, but I just haven't put it up yet. So get some things going up for you all. Come here. Would you like to say
Bye-bye.
bye? Say shalom.
No.
Bye-bye. Bless you.
Don't have to play with a chain like that.
See you later. Wait. All right, here you go. You go work on your sign language with Justice. She will help you with your sign language. Blue. Blue. Go with Justice. She'll help you. All right, guys. Bye-bye.